So I just want to give an idea of what standards-based grading looks like for students. We've been giving weekly assessments, and on those weekly assessments, we have maybe 4 to 6 standards on each one of those assessments. And each one of those standards is graded on a scale of 1 to 4. Now, anytime a student gets something less than a 4 out of 4, then they have some different options. Our goal is that a 4 out of 4 shows that they have mastered the topic. So if a student comes in and they take their weekly assessment and they don't get a 4 out of 4 on one of the standards, then the first option that they have is that a week later, 1 week later, they have the opportunity for a reassessment. And our hope is that in that week's time, they will come in before school or come in after school, or maybe they'll find some class time to get some extra help. Some of the other possibilities are they could go online and watch some of our online resources that we've put out there, or maybe they could form themselves a study group with some other students that didn't get a 4 out of 4 on that particular standard and kind of learn in a peer environment. Okay? And then a week later they get the reassessment. It's a new question, it's not the exact same questions, and lots of times the questions are a little bit more difficult. Then depending on what happens on that reassessment, it is also graded on a scale of 1 to 4. Now if a student improves on their original assessment, then that particular grade for that standard gets changed. So if they got a 1 here, they could move up to a 4 here. We've had some students that have also moved from a 2 up to a 3.5. So after this reassessment 1 week later, if they still don't have a 4 out of 4 and a student wants to improve on that particular grade for that particular standard, then they have another option, one more opportunity. And this other opportunity starts off with a plan of attack. They have to plan out how they're going to relearn the topic. So they've had 1 week to get some extra help, but now they're going to need to get some extra help on top of that. Again, whether it's coming in for a more intense one-on-one study session with a teacher, or it could be going back and taking more intense notes from the textbook, but they have to come up with some kind of plan to tell us as teachers how they are going to relearn that particular standard. And from there, they have to submit that to us as teachers, and we will say, yes, this is a good plan, and approve it, or no, this plan is not very good, you need to come up with something else. Once the plan has been approved, then they also have to show mastery of the topic. And they have some choices on the way that they can show that they've mastered the topic. Some different ways that students have shown that they've mastered the topic after the reassessment and then after their plan for relearning the material has been approved. Some of those things include online videos that they make for themselves but can also be shared with the rest of the world. Another opportunity is to make their own quiz. I've actually had some students that have made their own quiz with their own key. They turn that into me, and I'll answer the questions, but I'll answer them incorrectly. And so then I give it back to them for them to grade, and they have to try to find the mistakes that I've made. If they truly understand and master the topic, then they should be able to figure out the mistakes that other people make as well. I've also had some students do a class presentation on the topic, or even make a poster that could be used to hang up in the classroom. So this is the basic idea of standards-based grading. You get a weekly assessment, and if you don't do well on one or multiple standards, then a week later you've got the opportunity to do a reassessment. And then after the reassessments, if you still don't have the grade that you really want, and if you still need to improve on that grade, then you have to come up with a plan a plan for how you're going to relearn it, and then a plan for showing how you have mastered it. Now this whole process is not perfect. There's definitely some things that are good about it. There are some things that are good about the plan and about the flow of everything, and there are some things that aren't so good. when we started doing this, it was one of those things where we jumped into it, and the first time you do anything, you're almost always going to find some good things and bad things. So going into the second trimester, there have been some modifications that we've made to this plan, but those modifications are just a little bit different, and hopefully as we continue to grow with this particular process of grading, we will get better and better and refine it to a point where it's best for us as teachers and also best for the students to truly learn the material that we want them to learn.